All right. Looks like we've got another big batch of people joining the call here. We'll get started here now. Want to just remind everybody this is being recorded and you're able to enter your questions that you have for the panelists in the chat function. With that, there will be a portion for a Q&A at the end. But we'll get started here. So welcome. Thank you for joining us here on this Wednesday to talk about how to sell at Costco with FEVO. I am joined by two very distinguished guests here. We've got Josh Ziegenbusch from the Oakland Athletics. He's the Senior Director of Service and Retention. Josh, you want to give a little intro on yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Doug. Josh Ziegenbusch here. Just wrapped up my 20th season with the Oakland A's. Oversee our membership team and our ticket operations team, and we're closely optimizing the fan experience in Oakland. Just work with Venue Ties and kind of rolling out our mobile ordering solution in 2021 and looking forward to what we can do in 2022.
Thanks, Josh. In addition to Josh, we've got Liz McCloskey, Director, Sales Development and Group Events for the Seattle Mariners. Liz, if you want to give a background on yourself.
Thanks, Doug. Thanks for having us. Liz McCloskey, I've been with the Mariners for 17 years, just completed my 17th year here in Seattle. I oversee our sales development program, which is our entry-level sales program to kind of get the youth from college graduated and into the sales world, and especially sports sales. And then I also oversee the portion of our group events that is all of our ticket specials that we do on game days.
Awesome. Thanks so much, both to you, Josh and Liz, for joining us today. Excited for you to give us some insight on having sold in Costco previously, as well as Liz selling with us via this new Streamline process. So excited to have your insights shared here with all of our partners on this webinar. Wrapping up the intros, I'm Doug Fowler. Even though I look between 17 and 20 years old total, the EVP and co-head of sports and entertainment here at FEVO, been with FEVO the last 5.5 years after stints with the Boston Bruins and New York Yankees. Today, for an agenda standpoint, I'll kind of set the table on the Costco opportunity at large. We'll then hear from Josh on how things ran previously. We'll talk through the new process via FEVO. We'll then have Liz kind of talk us through both the previous process and the new process with FEVO, and then kind of talk about how you can launch with FEVO at Costco's, as well as kind of then have some question and answer, some discussion points. For the Costco opportunity here, this is the world's largest supergroup opportunity. This is a highly, highly affluent membership group that is very pervasive across North America. So we've got over 100 million card holders. We've got tons of households. More people have Costco memberships than they do cable TV subscriptions right now. You've got 30,000 people on average coming into Costco stores every single week. So there's a lot of traffic, a highly engaged membership group that's coming into the stores, that's buying, goods. They are the #1 seller of diamonds, of televisions, of wine. So very high-end items that they're providing value to a very highly affluent membership group, So big reach, huge opportunity to get in front of a wide group of people. To speak further to that affluent group, we're talking about an average salary in their house of about $170,000, highly educated homeowners, and a juggernaut in the retail space across North America. So you've got this massive opportunity to get in front of people that are spending thousands of dollars on all kinds of items that as they walk through the store and they're getting a couch and a TV and diamonds, coffee, wine, that they can now grab tickets to your events as well. So this is not an opportunity to sell the cheapest tickets at the cheapest prices. This is an opportunity to provide real valuable assets to move higher end tickets or value add products to a very affluent membership group. With that as the kind of explanation of what Costco is and does, I'll kick it over to Josh here to talk about how he sold previously with the A's in Costco's.
Thanks, Doug. Yeah, in Oakland, and you can see from the picture that I think that's our 2013 offer, but we've worked with Costco for many years. And I think, Doug, you talk about the reach, and the way I look at it too, it's obviously a ticketing opportunity, but the fact is, if we're in over 25 Bay Area warehouses and we don't sell one ticket, it's still a tremendous marketing opportunity to get your brand associated with Costco and on the floors at the warehouses. Fortunately for us, we have sold a tremendous amount of tickets through this channel. We're in baseball, obviously, so we've got 80 plus events a year, but we're moving tens of thousands of tickets through this channel annually. We kind of see it as kind of a value play, the 2 tickets for $50. It's on our lower level, just beyond the bases. So a bit distressed inventory, typically something we sell as groups or other single ticket offers. We normally black out just a few games. We obviously want to make the purchase decision easy for folks. We black out opening day and maybe the Giants series in a fireworks game or two. So a pretty open offer, 2 tickets. Fans can redeem online or offline. So obviously, again, back to the reach, when these folks buy their tickets or redeem their vouchers online, we're getting all that buyer data. And our sales staff has had tremendous success selling season tickets, group tickets, suites, other products to these folks after they bought this discounted offer on the floor. Another benefit of Costco is the holidays, right? So we would do 40 to 50% of our sales for the baseball season, which is obviously in spring and summer. We would sell almost half of our vouchers in November and December. So I would say wherever you're at in your sales cycle, if you're not in baseball and it's not necessarily your off season, I would still recommend using this channel to move inventory just to take advantage of the rush at the holidays. So all that is a good. So some things that were challenging, right? Like this is a real lift internally. Every October, I would always kind of stress, hopefully our team is playing well and we're in the postseason, but always getting the Costco offer up and approved by the end of the month so we could be in warehouse floors on November 1st was challenging, right? So our local contacts were fantastic. But again, those folks are buyers at Costco, and that person would probably, that job would turn over every 1 to 2 years. So I would get a great relationship with the local person, and they would give me a call and say, hey, Josh, I'm not on tickets anymore. I got promoted to cheese, or, hey, I'm going to be doing furniture now. So the fact that, it is such a competitive space and everybody is racing to be on the floor around the holidays, like making sure that you say, hey, no, what's going on with the A's offer? Where do we fall sort of in the pecking order to make sure that you do get onto the floors for the holidays? So that was always a stress for me to make sure we're working internally with legal and marketing and finance, that we've got everybody queued up and talking about the next season, sometimes before the current season ever ended. So it's some of the hurdles. We had a dedicated person in legal, a dedicated person on the marketing team. Ticket operations has to print, the vouchers and then mail them to the 25 or 30 different locations. And then a finance person after the fact have to send an invoice to each one of those saying, okay, you just ordered 100, here's the bill, when are you going to pay it? So just a lot of resources internally to make this happen. So the fact that, Doug and team are looking at kind of handling those logistics and some of the administrative stuff to make this more of a turnkey solution for clubs and venues, it just sounds fantastic because it is a super profitable sales channel.
Yeah, thanks so much for that, Josh. I think the main highlights there are just the amount of time that you have to spend with legal, with printing, with things that are kind of out of your usual day-to-day scope of work. Really adds work to your plate that we're trying to streamline and make better. And obviously from a redemption standpoint, we don't want to have to make somebody go to the box office window on the day of the game to redeem, allow them to just redeem right then and there as they buy. And so I think to shift gears for a second to the actual kind of process that we've layered in to make it a little bit better. Obviously in store, you're still going to have that image. So here's one of the ones from the Mariners this year, where you can see it still has that nice location, take to counter card that's on brand for you all. Obviously the graphics team is still putting together this artwork, but we're dealing directly with the printer for both the voucher and this take to consumer card. So as a Costco member, I'm coming into the store, I'm grabbing this take to counter card. I then go to purchase. Once I've purchased, I'm able to go online and redeem right away, because on that voucher that we've helped print is a QR code to scan to go directly to your website, and as well as the URL to go to your website if you're not tech savvy with the QR code scanning, but allows for you to right then and there, as you're walking to the parking lot, even redeem your voucher, get your tickets to upcoming games. And Josh, as you mentioned, the people that were redeeming kind of at the box office, all of that data is kind of lost typically in printing out the tickets and using the code to kind of print out a ticket. Now everything is flowing into Pro Venue, Paciolan, Ticketmaster, Arctics, whatever your ticketing system might be. So you're capturing all that data from consumers. So we've made that process to redeem easier, and you're capturing all that data instantly. Obviously, with the printing side, we're going to deal directly with the printer to get your vouchers in store as well and refill as you sell through those vouchers. So another thing that you don't have to worry about or be concerned about is dealing with a printing company and how many vouchers are left and when do we need to order more. So you're truly putting together your offer like you normally do. You're signing a one-page amendment with us instead of going through a 70+ page document with Costco. So you're dealing directly with us where you already have an agreement. We're pushing your proposal through, it's getting accepted. You're putting together the artwork. We're handling the shipping and printing. People are then buying in store and redeeming in a much cleaner way to get you all that data. So it's a better experience for them and better for you all. I think with the next slide here, it gives a recap of kind of exactly what I just laid out as the kind of steps for a Costco buyer. But you're buying in store on Costco.com, you're getting that voucher, you're redeeming that voucher online quick and easily, and you're getting that ticket right away. No extra lines at the box office, no lost data there, no waiting for that redemption process. So now that we've kind of laid out some of those streamlined pieces of how FEVO is running this program, would love to kick it over to Liz to kind of talk about your success selling at Costco, both before FEVO and being our guinea pig here, our first partner that launched in store.
Sure. I think Josh touched on a lot of it, the early success that we saw with Costco. The key thing is branding, right? You want your logo, you want your team in the market. And I think for us with Costco early on, when we attempted to work with them, we weren't getting the data we needed from our customers, right? So they were going to the box office, they were redeeming their tickets. We never saw their name, we never understood who they were, and we never understood their buying process. And so, fast forward to a meeting in July and a conversation regarding Costco with FEVO and the opportunity that we had. The ability to put it out there and really have it streamlined online to be able to go back to these folks. I mean, I'm the lone man on this call from our team, but it took, a handful of people to get this going and from the creative side, all the way through the process. But I think for us, it was, we in the state of Washington, COVID obviously was hit. People weren't feeling safe coming to the ballpark. We were hit in group numbers, et cetera, as I'm sure most people were. So it's how do we get some people into the ballpark in the month of August and September? We're playing good baseball. People are excited about us, but let's find a way to fill some seats. And this Costco opportunity presented itself and put us in a good position. And we saw success over, starting in August and getting ourselves through September. And we offered an area that is our Terrace Club, which is our 200 level, which most of the time the Terrace Club outfield just doesn't sell for whatever reason. And, it turned into a big sale for us through that month of August and September. And we loved it.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I think this is a good visual for everybody too, to see that voucher. Like you saw the take to counter card, you buy, you're getting that voucher right away, where you see the beautiful mariners.com/Costco website that, as you mentioned, your marketing team did an incredible job with making it simple and easy for people to follow, but having a nice landing page on brand on your site. And then having that QR code as well, just to quick and easily scan, redeem, enter that voucher code. One thing you did mention that I think is a really important point too, that I'm sure is of interest to this whole crew listening, is you chose Terrace Club tickets. So it wasn't the grandstand, like cheapest seats in the building. It was something that has access to a lounge that, has a more premium quality. Can you speak to kind of choosing that a little bit more? I know you said, hey, we wanted to go with something that was, potentially not as easy to sell, but would love to kind of hone in on that a little bit more too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Terrace Club is an area that we're trying to expose all fans to. And it's if you haven't been to Seattle and T-Mobile Park, it's a space that you have to have a physical ticket to get into. And so, they're a little bit more upgraded of a seat, and we don't get enough exposure to it because you have to have that ticket in there. And so by doing this, it allowed us to get people into that space and see that space, but it also allows us to eventually get feedback from them of what they like or what they don't like about the space, because we have all their contact information. And over the years, we've done some renovations to it. So it also exposes them to our Terrace Club Loge boxes and tables that we built and prepared for 2020 that nobody saw till 21. So it was a great opportunity to expose our club level for the last half of the season.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks so much for that. I think it's an important reminder for everybody, and I know Josh hit on this as well, that it's not about just what do we do at a discount. It's what can we really drive some good value and exposure to in the park. And, with certain other partners that we have live offers for, we've sold suites for the Reno Aces. We've got, club seats for the Orlando Magic. We have, really great 100 level seats for the Penguins. I know we kind of flipped through the slides on the online redemption, but it's $159.99. It's not $10 tickets that are kind of, again, pushed out to this highly affluent group. To speak a little bit more to getting you all into Costco, we'll go to the next slide here. The key thing is that they want to drive for members in Costco that opportunity to feel like super special about this valuable item. And so all of this is based on your box office price plus fees. So not your group ticket or your lowest price ticket in an area. It is your full price ticket with full fees that we're talking about a 20% value add, 20% or more value add to, or 20% or more discount to. So even though that $100 ticket you might sell to some groups for $50, for this program, it's a $100 ticket. Maybe you have $10 in fees for that ticket. It's a $110 ticket that you're then doing a 20% discount to, or thinking about value add for. Similarly, the value add is based on the full price of that value add. So hats, t-shirts that you might be paying a distributor $1 to $3 for, $5 for, but retail is $25, $30, $50 for, that is the full price for that value add as well. So right now we have about 20 partners that are in store or about to launch in store, with another 30 to 40 that are in the proposal stage. A number of our partners are adding, a hockey puck or a hat or a t-shirt or an item that, again, the retail price is higher than you're paying. So again, for setting off this program in Costco, everything here, the value add of 20% or more. So I'm saying it's a $100 ticket. If it's a $20 hat that you're adding as part of that, again, you're only paying $5 for that hat. You may sell that ticket for $50 via groups. You're just saying, hey, for $100, you're getting a ticket and a hat. The value is $120. Same thing with the discount. It's a 20% off of that full price. So this is the key rule for submission: 20% or more value add, or 20% or more discount off of full price with fees. On the next slide here, the like main steps, just to like end to end walk everybody through. We've got our 1-page amendment instead of the 70-page legal document that Josh kind of mentioned about trying to get on legal's plate right when the season ends. So quick and easy, lays out all the details of the program in addition to our existing partnership. With this, once you've signed that amendment or in conjunction with signing that amendment, you're curating this offer based on the guidelines I mentioned. So 20% value add or 20% discount off of that full price plus fees. And then we're collecting those assets from you. So your graphics or marketing team is still putting together that voucher, that take to counter, making it nice on brand for you. So I wanted to make sure that looks clean and nice. People are excited as they get it in Costco. We'll work together, your success and solutions team members will work with you on building that FEVO offer for redemption. So you have that Mariners.com/Costco page that you can redeem after you've bought in warehouse. And then boom, we're going to help with the printing and shipping of vouchers that take to counter, take that off your plate, make that streamlined for you and start selling right away. With the next slide here, the kind of discussion points to get a little bit more in the weeds with both Josh and Liz here. We'll start with you, Josh. Can you kind of talk to some of the strategy on, I know you touched on it a little bit, but like the areas of the stadium, the value add piece, just kind of walk us through what makes the most impact for you all when selling in Costco.
Yeah, I think for us, we wanted, it's something that we got on sale from, November 1st through typically maybe August 1st or even September 1st. So it was something that had a long sales cycle. So it needed to be something that we had significant inventory of. We talked about suites. We talked about some premium areas, but obviously those ebb and flow and availability can fluctuate pretty significantly. So something that we had a relatively large price category that was distressed and available for most games. Finding a price point that we were comfortable with, kind of that average ticket price that still fell in line with what we would do for flash sales or from single game offers, and didn't want to undercut our group sales price because that's a strong group areas on some weeknights and weekends. So just kind of taking all like what you're comfortable, what average ticket price you're looking to get, what your inventory needs are, where you have availability, and it could be in Liz's case where you wanted to do more of a premium area and just get some exposure and get people to do some trial, some trial seating, which we've tried as well.
Yeah, and Liz, do you want to kind of speak to some of your strategy as well here?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important for us to expose as many people as we can to the different areas in the ballpark. And for us, we knew we'd have that inventory available, and it's not necessarily everyone's first go-to spot, right? When they're looking on the website and they're trying to figure out where they want to sit, a family of 4 isn't saying, I want to be in the Terrace Club, because they're going to pay much more than they would through this Costco offer. So being able to provide that experience for a family of 4 or 5 or 6, whatever it is, at a reasonable price, and give them that exposure to hopefully in the future they're coming back to that location.
Doug, you talked about the affluent buyer, right? I mean, they're not going to want to sit in the upper deck in the corner and watch a baseball game, right? So it's got to be a good seat at a good value, and when they're coming out there, they're having a good time, so they buy more products or come back to the ballpark again. So keeping that in mind too.
Absolutely. And I think one of the questions from the chat, I promise I'm looking at the chat here too, was about the time that you were in store, Liz, for the 1,500 tickets. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, that we were in warehouse around August 15th. So it was about a 6-week run, but if you want to speak to that.
Yeah, by the time we got it all set and launched, it was August 15th that we started. And I know, people were excited about it. I know, as Doug touched on, 95% of the people on this call probably have a Costco card. I had friends texting me as they walked into the store. They're like, oh, hey, I noticed this team's in the store. And so, it came at the right time, because it was really the struggle with, where do we stand with fans? How comfortable are fans coming to the ballpark, and trying to drive more of those people that were hesitant to come, but give them the ability to get their foot in the door at the ballpark. But yeah, your timeline, August 15th, and it from when we first started talking about doing it to August 15th, there was a few weeks in between getting the graphics and everything set for you guys and sent over. Our marketing team did a great job and creating the website, and really it's personalizing it for you as your brand, which is great. And that's the key thing that we all look for, in this industry, is that making sure your brand's out there, and having mariners.com/Costco is the best way to expose more people to your site.
For sure. Yeah. I think obviously, given where it was in your season, we had a 4-week run in store, or 5-week run in store, because obviously they like to end it a little bit before when there's still some games left. But for everyone's knowledge, the run in Costco, it's a guarantee of at least 4 to 5 weeks. But in some cases, they'll let it run 8, 9, 10 weeks if it's selling really well. So you're guaranteed at least that month in warehouse. And Liz, absolutely right on the setup. Like if your graphics team is going to take a little bit of time, like you want to make sure, like we can, of course, send you the specs that are needed right now to get ahead on that. But once we have that web page set up, once we have the specs, it can take 2 to 3 weeks to get in warehouse. But everybody's on this call, we can get you in the warehouse here in mid-November, depending on you guys providing those assets, to get there in time for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the holidays. So definitely a huge opportunity and good timing on kind of putting it all together. There's another question here that is about kind of expectations for the launch. And Liz, this one's for you. With the launch on 8/15, what did you expect, the kind of sales numbers to look like from Costco?
I think for us, I don't know that we had as a first time trial a major expectation in terms of numbers and where we wanted to see it go. I think we really wanted to watch the ebbs and flows of the process, and as people came in, how easy is the experience for them to redeem, and did they enjoy their experience? So for what we did in that 4-week, 5-week process was far better than what we've done in years past. So it makes a huge difference when the buyer is in control of how and when they get their tickets, right? They're no longer relying on having to drive to T-Mobile Park to go to a box office. They can do everything by phone. They can do everything by computer at home. And in a 2-3 click process, they're done and they have their tickets and they're ready to go. So for us, that 1.5 that we hit is a great number for us in the time that we were in Costco.
Appreciate the insight and candor there. Josh, a question that both of you, but we'll start with you, Josh. When looking towards 2022, what are you guys thinking about doing? What areas of your stadium are you going to showcase? Will there be value add? So again, we'll start with you, Josh. We'd love to hear from both of you on kind of what you guys are thinking from an offer standpoint, and even a timeline, just given, Josh, you mentioned the holidays are pretty impactful for you all as well.
Yeah, I think we've had success offering the lower level, and I think the members are kind of used to that offer each year and look for it. So I don't know how much we'll want to change that up for next season, but we have included parking as a value add. We have included loaded value for concessions and merchandise. So just continuing to make it the best value proposition as possible. So when those folks do come, they have a good time and go back to Costco and buy more tickets or buy a different product from us. So I think we found success by offering finding the best possible seat we're comfortable with, discounting, and then add on from there. I know for the holidays, we've worked with Costco too, and they've had sweatshirts, and they've had a 1 or 2 minute sizzle video that plays along with the ticket offered warehouse to really drive traffic and to people come by and check it out. So they're just as interested in moving inventory and selling tickets as we are. So looking forward to being able to take advantage of that soon.
Awesome. Yeah, Liz.
I think from our side, I know we're in discussions about what does a holiday offer look like for us, whether it's a Black Friday or something else. But I think honestly, we will likely continue to look at the Terrace Club level. We did away with added value items a few years ago. Doesn't necessarily mean we won't have a discussion about bringing them back, but I think with the success that we saw within those 4 weeks of being in Costco alone for August and September that, there is some value to just getting those people in the Terrace Club. The main level is another option for us. That tends to sell quicker than our club level. So we have a few discussions. We have a few things that we're going to build out. And I know the holiday season, which we've tried in the past with Costco, is coming back around, and we're making some decisions on.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I really, really appreciate the insight there. Obviously, 2022 is on everybody's mind. Obviously, the MLB, MILB schedules are out, and soccer's chomping at the bit to get theirs. I mean, we've got live partners in hockey and basketball looking to launch shortly here too. In terms of like setup and operations, I know, Liz, you alluded to kind of having multiple people involved there. Is there any tips for the group? Somebody asked kind of like, hey, how did you get your artwork to be delivered in a timely fashion? How did you get the website up and running? So kind of combining some of those questions, what are some of the tips that you have on kind of getting this up and running and making sure everybody's singing the same tune?
Absolutely. I think, for us here, that's worked for us over the years is that, we're all on the same page of what's needed. Obviously, there's got to be a little bit of push on our graphics team because they are heavily utilized by cross departments throughout the organization. And so for us and for me and the Mariners, it's having that connection within our marketing team and having our strategy group being a part of this and working hand in hand and making sure, from the sales side, you have everything prepared so that when you're going to our graphics folks, you're telling them exactly what they need and what we want the website to look like, and then working with the strategy folks and going back and forth and saying, hey, I don't like this. I like this. Can we tweak this? But I think it's if you on the sales side are prepared and you have all the details and the assets that are expected, just communicating that is the big factor. And I think, we all struggle. There's no doubt about that internally where there's so many asks out there and life can bog us all down and it gets to be too much. But I think, with how quickly the number of hands here that were involved in this program for this year worked together to put out what we needed to do, I think we've set ourselves up for success going into 22 and we know what the expectation is.
Absolutely. Josh, do you have some tips as well on getting all the things that you need to launch the program too?
Yeah, I think to Liz's point, leveraging internal relationships. And for us, it's kind of an annual request for me. So I'll tee up the ask maybe a couple weeks before I need it, but everybody knows that I'll be coming asking for the Costco assets. And I think it's a combined organizational buy-in when you're selling that much inventory and it's such a profitable channel from a marketing, ticketing, and brand, play. Everybody kind of understands the value and the importance and they contribute. So it's been good.
Awesome. Yeah, appreciate that. If we could go back 2 slides, I do want to address like Dan and Ryan. I know Josh is helping with answering some questions in the chat here too, but to make it super clear here, with number 1, like there is a revenue portion that goes to Costco, that goes to the primary ticketer that you work with, that goes to FEVO as part of a rev share. So to make it like super clear there, if you've got a $100 ticket that you're giving $20 worth of value, so a $100 ticket, a $20 hat that you're selling for $100 in Costco, $80 is going back to the team. So with that, like from the 20, there's a portion that's going to your primary ticketer. There's a portion that's going to Costco. There's a portion that's going to credit card processing. There's a portion that's going to FEVO as part of the program. So that's the revenue share piece, because I think Dan might have asked about that, or Ryan. The second part here is there's a $350 per warehouse fee that covers all of the vouchers, the take to counter card. So based off of the warehouses you want to be in, which again, you're going to dictate if you want to be in 1, if you want to be in 3, if you want to be in 50, it's $350 per warehouse that you're going into. So Dan, to be clear, it's $350 per warehouse that you're in. That covers the vouchers, the take to counter card, and the refills on vouchers as you sell through them. The kind of rev share portion that, covers the credit card processing. Costco, your primary ticket or FEVO, is separate of that and separate of the value add that you're driving to make it an offer in Costco. So I know that Josh was answering some of those things, but want to just add it to the entire, overview here for everybody in case you're not following the chat with Josh going back and forth with Ryan and Dan there. I think there's also a question about plans. I think that's from Kyle Logan. So with that, you can do a plan. I think Costco sees the most success when you're focusing on one event, because as a consumer that's coming in, I'm getting my peanut butter pretzels and avocados and then seeing like, oh, I can get a suite to the Reno Aces, or, oh, I can get these club seats to the Mariners. I'm not necessarily thinking about a plan as I shop on Saturday morning for things. But that idea of going out to a game, getting 2 tickets plus, hot dogs and sodas are 2 tickets in a club area, like that I can redeem for a game of my choosing, they see the most value on. So like a 2-ticket package or a 4-ticket package to one game. And would obviously love to hear from Liz and Josh if they've, tried out plans or thought about that before. But I know that is the best practice from the Costco side and where we're seeing the most success. But like, of course, we're willing to kind of try some different things too.
Yeah, we looked at plans years ago when we were first talking with Costco, and it didn't sell as well as we thought it would. So it's definitely, we've seen more success with the 1s and 2s and the single game offers versus the big plans.
Agreed. Yep. Same.
Awesome. But yeah, I think with the 2 slides forward on just making sure that we covered everything. Is there anything else, both Liz and Josh, whether it's getting in warehouse, setting up programs, like the success that you're seeing, anything that we, might not have covered in some of the questions and discussion that we've had thus far that you want to touch on about the program at large?
I don't think so. Josh, you got anything?
No, I mean, just the urgency to take advantage of the holidays. It's like I said, we're moving tremendous volume through it, so can't recommend it enough. And the fact that Doug and you guys are taking a lot of the administrative, logistical stuff off our hands is really welcome, and excited about next season and be talking very soon about what we're going to do in Oakland. So,
absolutely, yeah, and I think one thing I'll touch on just for questions that are popping up in the chat. There is the in-warehouse offer. So being able to have, your 2-ticket or 4-ticket package that I'm talking about, but like, of course, there is the Costco.com offer piece as well. So Kyle Logan, promise I'm not picking on you, just pointing out, because you mentioned the plans. I think in warehouse, that 2 or 4-ticket package makes the most sense. But of course, on Costco.com, if you want to try, some of the plan stuff or suite stuff, some of the things that maybe you don't want to be, having printed up or don't think would be bought the same way in store, we can at least try on Costco.com as well. Bill Peck asked about kind of food and beverage or merch as part of the redemption process. Everybody is a little bit different. We know some have, food and beverage double scan technology. Some have it in the buyer type if you're in Pro Venue, the price type if you're in Paciola, and the actual ticket type if you're in Ticketmaster. So it kind of depends on how your relationship works with your own stadium or arena and ticketing system based off of that. So I think we might have to take that conversation offline just to your specific use case. But certainly for the food and beverage, like we've seen with most partners, that it's part of a double scan or included. I know the Chicago Blackhawks have an incredible offer that's launching here shortly, where the food and beverage credit is directly on your ticket, so that when you're in the actual arena, you can scan and have that, be good for your beer, your hot dogs, your soda. For items themselves, everybody also is a little bit different. So whether it's pick up from a sales table, pick up from the actual rep that kind of oversees the Costco program, or again, the double scan technology to go into your team store and collect that item. It's going to depend on your arena, stadium, vendor relationship and ticketing system. So trying to give the macro level answer, but obviously Bill will make sure to connect after this to kind of go a little bit deeper there. Josh, because I know that we saw it on the 2013 example with food and beverage, did you have that added as part of the buyer type for you all?
Yep. The GDC buyer type that GiveX would then read then. I mean, now, we're working with a digital wallet and how that would change and if that would make things more complex for redemption or for the fan to understand, or the cashier at the concession stand. So we'll have to think about how loaded value plays in, and maybe it's a little bit too complicated now when we look at parking or a merch item, a different value add. But it's worked really well in the past with us, just scanning the barcode.
Awesome. I think one of the questions that is super impactful here too is kind of around the email database. I showed at the beginning that there's about 30 million plus emails in the database of Costco. As part of this program with the revenue share, there is a marketing budget that will go towards saying, hey, to every member right now, we've got baseball tickets available for the holidays. That will allow you to see any team that's opted in and start buying on Costco.com as well. So easy for me to forget, but want to make sure to highlight that there is a marketing budget towards pushing success here, pushing people to Costco.com to be able to go and get more and more of your tickets to make this program, pour gasoline on the fire of success here, keep moving tickets for you. So thanks for all these questions here. I think we answered all of them, just doing a quick double check here. But with this, obviously everybody has got a success rep. You've got, myself, I'm Doug at FEVO.com, always happy to answer questions or jump on a call here. But truly, thank you, Josh. Thank you, Liz, so much for joining us here on the webinar, sharing insights, sharing sales numbers. Super, super appreciative. And I'll turn it to you if you want to have a final thought for everybody here before we jump.
No, thank you. Thanks for having us. And obviously, if anybody here, feel free to reach out with any questions. If Doug wants to share my email, he's welcome to. It's just McCloskey@mariners.com. We're happy to jump on a call if you have further questions.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Again, available. Any questions, however we can help. Everybody sell more tickets. That's what we're here to do.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. We see this as a huge revenue opportunity that we're able to streamline for those that already work with Costco and bring you a new revenue opportunity for those that haven't, and make it in a quick and easy way for you all. So Liz and Josh, truly can't thank you enough for your insight and for joining us today. Super excited to continue to grow sales in Costco's with you all and everybody else that's on this call.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks so much.